Hi, I'm Meredith Arthur. I'm a dietitian. I've been exploring vitamin A metabolism. I have some clients that have hypervitaminosis A, and then I have some that are termed vitamin A toxic. So I've been exploring these pathways, but I'm noticing that even in a normal vitamin A status, there's people suffering from specific things along this pathway. And so I was prompted to make this video for one of my dearest friends who I love so much. I've kind of been putting this off, but I decided to do this tonight, even though I'm not feeling well. So hopefully my brain will work well. So this down here is the mitochondrial um, respiratory chain. So there's little complexes along here. And when we're talking about vitamin A, retinoids, which are all the forms of vitamin A, they're mitochondrial toxicants. So they actually damage the mitochondria. There's specific mechanisms by which this happens. So one is that retinol can actually displace cytochrome C from the respiratory chain. Basically, it displaces it from this mitochondrial membrane, and then that actually goes into the cytosol and it causes the cell to go through apoptosis or necrosis. So that's one possible way that specifically retinol can cause death to a cell. Retinol aldehyde actually can displace cytochrome oxidase, and so, or cytochrome C oxidase, right? And so what that does is it actually will result in not taking the protons in water and protons in oxygen and turning them into water. And so you'll have a buildup of oxygen, and oxygen comes over here. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to fix this. Move this little screen guy out of the way. There we go. So the oxygen comes over here to this diagram. And from this free radical oxygen, you should be using superoxide dismutase to make hydrogen peroxide. And you should not be making too much hydrogen peroxide. You should be eventually getting rid of the free radical oxygen because the hydrogen peroxide would actually be reduced by glutathione. So it's not shown in this picture. But instead, you're just having a buildup of these particular pro-oxidative chemicals, and that can lead to neuron death or cell death in general of any cell. And you can see here the hydrogen peroxide is supposed to be reduced by catalase to water and oxygen. That's how it should go. And then glutathione can be also involved in this process. I should probably get a diagram on here of that, but for now, I'm just going to say that there's typically going to be a buildup of nitric oxide in vitamin A toxicity because it's a massive quantity of retinoids that we're dealing with. And so the body's ability to go through this catalase reaction is diminished because the amount of oxidative damage that's happening. And so for this particular friend, I wanted to look up different factors that could increase nitric oxide because nitric oxide is super important for another pathway that can get broken. And so factors that increase nitric oxide would be IV vitamin C, long-term oral vitamin C, high-dose oral vitamin C, melatonin, IV ozone, IV hydrogen peroxide, increasing high nitrate foods, arginine supplements, hyperbaric oxygen chambers, and infrared therapy. And I know that sounds crazy because that's like everything that we do for alternative therapy for like cancer and sports and all that types of stuff, right? Like we want to increase nitrogen oxide. It's so good for us. And it also kills cancer, right? So, I suppose that's what it does. I'm not a cancer expert, but I would hope that that was the goal of this, all of these things, because that's what those particular things do. And I will link all of the journal articles that I went through to try to get this idea. I mean, I didn't read them in their entirety, so please go ahead and, do a deep dive for yourself and read the journal articles. I was just trying to do a quick sum up. So I read the abstracts. Okay. So here is the nitric oxide. Okay. And so what I want to talk about now is what that nitric oxide is doing. So it's going up here. It can actually block, it can go back and feedback and block that complex 4 that I was talking about, the cytochrome oxidase. It can actually cause a block there. But the part that I want to talk about right now is this pathway over here. It's a methylation pathway. So actually, I'm going to talk about in the next video, I'm going to talk about this. So I'll make a second video. It'll be part 2. So look for that. Sorry, it takes me forever to stop things.